Welcome, my dear children. I hope you are doing great. Well, today we are back with the part 2 portion of the chapter, What is Government? Till now, we have seen that what is a government, what are its different functions, how a government is held responsible for all the work that surround the people of the country. Lastly, we had seen that what are the different forms of government. In that, we have already read about monarchy or the autocratic government, where we have seen that this particular government is all about its king or queen, right? So, where the king is only responsible for taking his or her decisions, and he or she is not responsible or is not bound to take the advice or of the common people. It is the final decision taken by him or her that actually transform itself into the laws for the country. So that was all about monarchy. Okay, previously I have told you that our constitution allows India to be the largest democracy in the world. It has the largest written constitution as well. So, the people of India actually, or the Indian constitution, of course, propagates the democratic government. So, let's take a sneak peek into what is it actually. India is a democracy. This achievement is the result of a long and eventful struggle of the Indian people. I am sure that you know about the Indian freedom struggle, how India has gained its freedom from the long rule of the Britishers, and how she is being able to come out of the bondage of the British ruler. We are not unknown to the fact or the glorious history. There are other places in the world where people have also struggled to have democracies. You know that the main feature of a democracy is that the people have the power to elect their leaders. So, in a sense, a democracy is ruled by the people. The basic idea is that people rule themselves by participating in the making of these rules. So basically, the people or the countrymen, they decide upon what actions should be taken by the government. They actually directs or have their notion, have their view to say, and their views about everything what's happening around us. You take a simple example of the higher rate or the inflation. What is inflation? When the things becomes costlier, or the day-to-day commodities, or the commodities which are very useful to us, or the useful commodities, their rates become quite higher. So when this happens, we call it an inflation. So when this inflation happens in Indian market, what happens? The common people get sufferer. They actually suffer. So they protest. Even they protest in every field wherever they feel that their rights are being carved and their rights are being taken away, or they are not getting what they are demanding through social media, through different media, print media, normal media. They are always very, very vocal. Why? Because they feel that when they are being involved in the process of decision making, then they should be aware of what is happening around their country. They should always be aware. Okay, democratic government in our times are usually referred to as representative democracies. In representative democracies, people do not participate directly, but instead they choose their representative through an election process, and these actually meet and make the other demands, that is for the entire population. All right, and these days the government cannot call itself democratic unless it shows or it allows what is known as universal adult franchise. This word is also not new to you children. Universal adult franchise is the process through which we actually give our votes The term vote is not new to you. The term, the commission that conducts this, that is the Election Commission of India, which is an independent body of the government, is not unknown to you. So these two are held responsible for conducting the election process in India. Now, we as 135 million people of India, we cannot say our words individually, isn't it? So what we have done, the system of the country allows us to choose a representative who will go and speak in your favor in the parliament, just like your class teacher appoints a captain or a monitor in the class who does all the work in your favor or on your behalf. It is the same way a representative, who are called the MLAs or the MPs, that is the member of the parliament or the member of the legislative assembly, they go to these center level and the state level. They go there and they have their own versions of decision, and they always keep in mind the interest of the common people, okay, because they are elected by the common people, right? So in this way the entire process happens, all right. But it was not always like this. Can you believe that there was a time when the government did not allow women and the poor to participate in the election? In their earliest forms of government allowed only men who owned property and were educated. So there was a system where the people, all the people of India were not eligible. Only the people who were rich enough and the rich men, basically, they were allowed to vote, or those who were educated enough, they used to vote. Because people used to think that only these people have a common, some sense, so these people need to vote. Then only it will be a fair judgment. Now, what happened? This meant that women and the poor and the propertyless or the uneducated were not allowed to vote. The country was governed by the rules and the regulations of these few men made. Okay? Now, in India, before independence, only a small minority was allowed to vote, and they came together to determine the fate of the majority. So, very few. Before independence, when it was under the bondage of the British rule, what happened? They all, these universal thing was not in vogue, so only few of them participated in this procedure. Several people, including Gandhiji, were shocked at the unfairness of this practice and demanded that all adults have to have the right to vote. This is known as the universal adult franchise. Writing in the journal Young India in 1931, let's see what Gandhiji had said. He said that I cannot possibly bear the idea that a man who has got wealth should have the vote, but that a man who has got character but no wealth or literacy should have no vote, or that a man who works honestly by the sweat of his brow day in and out should not have the vote for the crime of being a poor man. So he protested against the notion of only notion of being indiscriminately unfair decision of only being considering the vote of the educated people or vote of the dishonest people who have enough wealth. So a voting right means the entire population above the age of 18 are eligible for giving their own opinion, giving their own views through what? Through the universal adult franchise, which subsequently decide the fate of Indian government. Okay, it's a huge responsibility that has been bestowed to the Indian citizens by the most powerful constitution of India, which we follow for actually every day, whatever we do. Okay, so in this way we are being held responsible to the government of India. So children, that was all about the chapter. The chapter is not very difficult for you to understand. You know about the system of our country from previous, you have read about these in the previous classes, so they will not be of very difficult for you to understand. Please go through the book again and again, and along with this I will be providing you the question answers, so you will not have any problem as such. If you come across any problem, or you have any doubt or queries that come to your mind, no problem, please comment so that I get your comment. I will be answering you then and there. All right, till there, take care and stay safe. Bye bye.